Hello Cancer, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection between you and the person that you are needing to learn the most from right now. We are looking at all three sides of the connection, so we've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As I do in all of my readings, I've pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages, as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second. But I still have a different tarot deck we'll be pulling from for each side of the connection, as well as the advice deck I'll be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps, leave what doesn't. All right, Cancer, let's jump on in. On your side of this connection, you have healing with the Seven of Cups. And as we'll kind of get to as we progress with these overall messages, something went down in this connection, something that was pretty painful. And I feel like you've been left kind of with this, like, what the hell kind of mindset. Like, what the hell was that? Or what just happened? And this healing card is interesting because the first thing that stands out to me in this is the imagery and just like the image of connecting the dots, right? I feel as if there is more to what happened in this connection than what meets the eye, and understanding what is trying to be brought forth through whatever happened here can help you heal in a way that you wouldn't be able to if this hadn't have gone down. So I do feel like there is a deeper purpose. Now, I am always an advocate for believing that there is a deeper purpose for everything we go through. But I feel like even taking that a step further, I feel like kind of understanding things from a deeper perspective can help you heal, can help you on this process of moving forward. Because again, I get this, like, what the hell was that? Or like, what the hell happened? This person, they have manipulation with the Three of Swords. So I do feel like this person has a tendency to be pretty manipulative. I mean, at the very least, I feel like some of the things that they did in this connection were pretty manipulative. Now, at the same time, with this Three of Swords energy, this is coming from this place of understanding that hurt people. And manipulation is a sign of feeling as if somebody needs to protect themselves. They've been hurt in the past and they need to retain control over other people or over situations to avoid getting hurt. That's typically when you're dealing with someone who's a little bit more manipulative, you're definitely dealing with someone who hasn't dealt with any of their stuff, who hasn't done the healing, who hasn't done work on themselves. And so they resort to control. Now, I'm not making excuses for this person. I'm not saying, oh, feel bad for them. They hurt others because they're hurt. What I am saying is that sometimes when we understand why people do the things that they do, it can help us tremendously in our healing journey, because we can stop taking other people's actions and the way that they treat us so personally. And it's really, really hard when we're dealing with personal relationships because it's personal, right? But it's not as personal as you think. In fact, the way that other people treat other people is a direct reflection of how they feel about themselves, not really actually how they feel about us. And when we can understand that perspective, it can help us go, okay, so it's not that I'm unlovable. It's not that I'm not valuable. It's not that I am deserving of the way that I've been treated. It's that this person has their own stuff that they haven't dealt with, and they're taking it out on me, essentially, or projecting it onto me. But there's always another side to that where it's like, but is there a lesson here for you to learn, to understand where, why is this kind of connection getting attracted into your life? What can this help you learn so that you can move forward to attracting healthier, more sustainable connections? Because in between the connection, you have confusion with the Ten of Swords. And this is what makes me think something went down here. Something happened. I will say this Ten of Swords has been coming up in almost every single reading that I've done this round. I feel like this retrograde that we just went through, it doesn't have to be the retrograde where this all went down, but I feel like relationships have been really shaken up recently. I don't know what's going on. Maybe someone in the astrology world can help me out with that. But I do feel like betrayal has been a primary theme in these relationship readings. Now, whether that's romantic or otherwise, I don't think it really matters. But I do feel with this Ten of Swords, this is betrayal, this is abandonment, this is feeling stabbed in the back in some way, right? I mean, quite literally with that imagery. And this confusion card, I feel like really, is a reflection of kind of how you're feeling, right? You have the Seven of Cups that just, what the hell, overwhelmed, not sure where to go from here. But in this card in particular, it's kind of like, the static on a TV when you're not getting a clear signal. So it's this energy of like you're confused because you're not getting a clear picture of what really went down. I feel like there's more to this story than meets the eye. And I think that as we start uncovering that, it might make a little bit more sense for you. Because the overall theme of the reading is love yourself first. I think that if you follow my channel, if you know me as a person or as a reader at all, this is like my number one message. Love yourself first. Other people are a reflection of how much we love ourselves. And when we are struggling to love ourselves despite our flaws or our traumas or the things that we think are wrong with us, we will attract people that make us feel unlovable for those things. And sometimes what it feels like is a validation that we are unlovable for those things, when in reality, it's actually the universe's way of saying these are the things you don't love about yourself. And in order for other people to love you unconditionally, you have to do so as well. So everything's a mirror, right? Especially our relationships. And when we're willing to look at things from that perspective, we can open ourselves up to a completely different way of navigating our relationships, whether it's romantic or otherwise, which is going to help us attract the love that we've been looking for. So let's start, Cancer, with your side of this connection. This is Cancer's energy toward the person they are dealing with. Oh, okay. That was a weird shuffle. All right, Cancer side of this connection. Oh. Hang on, I feel like I need to clarify this Nine of Cups in reverse. Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah. Two Cups in reverse, Nine of Cups in reverse. Okay. So the first way that we tend to view anything that happens to us in our life is through the lens of our deepest fears, of our insecurities, of our trauma. The first way that we view any situation is essentially through the lens of our trigger. And sometimes if we haven't healed or, we haven't gotten to a certain place in our journey, we'll stay in that place. So when other people treat us poorly, we will see this as a reflection of us. And we'll say, this is a reflection of the ways that I'm not good enough, or that I'm not lovable enough, or that I'm not valuable enough. Because I do feel like there is a separation here. I feel like with the Two of Cups in reverse, there is this distance between you and this person. Whether that was your decision or theirs, I'm not really quite sure. But I feel like it was something that you don't feel as if you necessarily had a say in, which means, maybe this person initiated the separation, or maybe you felt backed into a corner. You were like, I have to make this decision because I can't do this anymore. Either way, I feel like the way that you're viewing what went down in this connection, or the way that this person acted or treated you, you're viewing it from this place of, there must be something wrong with me. I must not be, because anyone, it's almost like if I were to treat someone that way, I'd have to really, really hate that person or something like that. Like, it's like, I feel like you're trying to put yourself in the other person's shoes, and you're trying to say, why would they do this to me, or why would they treat me this way? And you're trying to figure out what they saw in you to cause them to do that. Now, that's where we have to understand that other people, don't necessarily have the same perspective as we do, or the same heart as we do, or the same intentions as we do. And so we can't really put ourselves in the shoes of someone that doesn't really think like us, right? Though I think it's important to try to. I think that sometimes it can get lost a little bit. The meaning of that can get lost a little bit in translation, because it's not necessarily saying understand why someone treated you that way, meaning like figure out why they liked or disliked you to do those things. It's saying try to understand what that person is dealing with, which is causing them to act that way. Not, how you're unlovable or not good enough that it caused them to act that way. I hope that makes sense. I said that kind of weird, but all right, Cancer side of this connection. So I feel like that's what the universe really wants to clear up here, is to understand that the way that you were treated in this connection, or whatever went down, it's not your fault, okay? It's not your fault that things happened the way that they did. Does that mean that you played a role? Absolutely, right? There's always a way we can take accountability for the role that we played, but it doesn't mean that getting treated poorly is your fault, or that you were ever deserving of that. Especially if there was manipulation involved, because sometimes when you're dealing with people who are a little bit more manipulative, they can also make you feel as if you did deserve it, or as if there's something wrong with you that makes you deserving of it. All right, Cancer side of this connection. The Moon. See? It's almost as if this person brought up a lot of fear for you. Fear that, like, because it's also an indication of an illusion. The Moon is. It's an illusion. It's a dream. Like, it's not reality. But I feel like a lot of times associated kind of with darkness, with fear. And I feel like it's almost as if this connection and the way that this person treated you in this connection brought up a lot of fear of, like, almost validation of the things that you felt were wrong with you. Almost as if the ways that you were looking for this person, the things about you that you maybe didn't love or don't feel are good enough, it's almost as if this person made you feel as if those things aren't lovable, or as if you're not good enough. It's like the validation of your fears. That's what I feel like this connection was for you. And I think that it's important for you to know that that within itself is an illusion. Again, right? The first way we view any situation is through the lens of our insecurity, our fear. So I feel like there's more to it. It's and this is why I like doing these readings. There's 3 sides to every story, right? I feel like how other people treat us is never a reflection of our value, but a reflection of the way in which we value ourselves, or giving us an opportunity to value ourselves appropriately, which is why I feel like you have love yourself first. Now, am I saying that it's your fault that you were treated poorly? Absolutely not, okay? That's not at all where I'm going out with this. But when other people reflect back at us our own insecurities or the things about us that we don't necessarily really love, it's the universe's way of reflecting the things within us that we need to learn to love, that need to be healed, that need to be addressed. Because that's what relationships do. They trigger you. And they trigger you hardcore. And if you don't look at those triggers from this place of like, this is helping me heal or this is helping me grow, you're going to instead view them from this place of, there's something wrong with me. I'm never going to experience the love that I want. All right, Cancer side of this connection. The 7 of Swords. So, okay, hang on. Let me clarify the 7 of Swords. The King of Swords in reverse. Oh my gosh, that's literally like manipulation. And then you don't know the full story. You don't know the full story. I feel like you might have been lied to by this person. You don't know the full story. I feel like, well, okay, hang on. I'm going to get a little bit more on this. Also, you could be dealing with an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but I also just feel like this is more presenting me with that, that energy of like I said, like manipulation in some way. Can I get more on this? The Nine of Swords, and there it is. There's the insecurity. See, you don't know the full story, and your insecurities or the fears that you have or the ways that you feel unlovable or not good enough it's almost like the only reason it's like the only reasoning you've been able to come up with for this person's behavior. Or it's like the way that your brain is like trying to understand what went down here. But with the Seven of Swords, it's almost like you don't have the full story. You don't have, and again, that's where the confusion is. It's like you're not seeing the clear picture of like what really went down, because this King of Swords in reverse is an indication that this person wasn't really coming from the best place to start with. So I feel like this is a lot about maybe needing to understand this person a little bit more. So let's dive into it. Let's see what they're dealing with. Manipulation with the Three of Swords. This person's energy toward Cancer, please. What does Cancer need to know about this person's energy toward them? Because I almost feel like what this is like this person is showing you the ways in which you're needing to love yourself. Not proof that you are unlovable. The Fool in reverse, the Hermit in reverse. This person isolates. They're more comfortable. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, there it is. The King of Swords in reverse, the Seven of Cups. So their manipulation is what is confusing the hell out of you. Okay. The Fool in reverse is this indication of wanting something they're not ready for. Wanting a relationship, wanting commitment, but not being at a place in their life emotionally, mentally, to be able to have that or provide, like to be able to basically not ready for it. And this Hermit in reverse is because I feel like this person has a tendency to withdraw. It's almost like they feel more comfortable being alone. They feel more comfortable in isolation. And this person is like in survival mode trying to protect myself. And I feel like it's hard for you to understand because I'm sure you see glimpses of what this person desires, right? I want a relationship, or I want commitment, or I want to make this work, or whatever the case is. But then when things actually get hard and it comes down to like working on the connection or communicating or being vulnerable or having to open up, no, this is too much. Push it away, close off, hide. And then maybe manipulate you by saying, oh, you're asking for too much, or you're difficult, or you're too emotional, or you're too sensitive, or whatever the case might be, when in reality, they're the one, because I feel like it's important for you to understand that what you were asking for or desiring in this connection, you are absolutely deserving of having. This person's inability to provide that for you is not an indication of whether or not you can have it or whether or not you're deserving of it, but an indication of whether or not they're capable of providing it, like where they're at in their emotional journey and their growth journey. And I think that it's hard Because when you're dealing with someone who struggles with manipulation, I feel like they can be really, really convincing. So you really believe like they want to make this work or whatever the case is. But then again, when it comes down to actually doing the work, I don't feel like they were ever there for it. Now, this is all stemming from their own pain. It's like they have, this history of the Three of Swords here, of having their heart broken. They haven't dealt with any of it. They desire to be loved, because at the core of who we are as human beings, we desire that human connection. We all desire to be loved unconditionally for who we are. But if we don't love ourselves unconditionally, we will not be able to accept that love from others and return the favor, because we will continue. So, there's a mirror. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this person struggles to love themselves unconditionally, right? So they will not allow them to accept the love that you have to provide. So they're going to push it away. They're going to sabotage it. They're going to withdraw from it, right? Because you struggle to love yourself unconditionally, which this connection to this person is bringing to the surface, you have all of this unconditional love to give out, but you continue to attract people that can't give it back to you. So do you see, it's when we struggle to love ourselves unconditionally for who we are, despite our flaws, despite the things we think are wrong with us, despite our trauma, we are either going to search for love in the wrong people, or we are going to push away the right people. We are either going to chase love in people who aren't capable of loving us the right way, or we are going to push it away whenever we do receive it, or sabotage it in some way, which is why even healthy relationships are going to trigger you, because they are going to bring up these feelings of, I don't feel deserving of love. I don't feel good enough for love. I've experienced it in my relationship with my husband. When we first got into a relationship, luckily I had done a lot of work and a lot of healing, and I had a self-awareness of understanding, like, okay, I have this feeling where I want to sabotage, I want to start an argument, or I want to do these things that I know are toxic and I know that I've done in the past, but I'm not going to do those things because I don't want to ruin this connection. I deserve it. He deserves to be loved well, and so I would show up better. And I was able to communicate where I was coming from and how I felt, and he was very good at listening, and that's why we were able to build a healthy, sustainable relationship. And I say that because in the past, I've been on both sides. I've been someone who has chased love in people who didn't provide it, and I've been someone who pushed it away in people who did, or who sabotaged it in people who did. And all of it stemmed from the fact that I hadn't dealt with my own shit. And so I was allowing that shit, excuse my language, to be the driving factor in my decision making. It was like I was so concerned with protecting myself that I would push it away, or I wanted the people who would make me, the dynamic of feeling unlovable, I had felt like if I finally got that person to love me or to choose me, that it was going to heal those wounds. So at the end of the day, I was hurting, and I was looking for somebody else to be the solution to that hurt, which ended up either hurting myself or hurting other people. So when we are willing to kind of understand that our relationships with other people are not a reflection of our deservingness, but a reflection of what we need to heal, and we start to dive into that healing, we are going to attract people that then reflect the love that we have for ourselves instead of reflecting our wounds. I hope that makes sense. And it's on both sides. That's why there's a big mirror here, and that's also why I feel this has been very painful for you too. All right, this person's energy toward Cancer. See, this person doesn't know how to be a partner. Three of Pentacles in reverse. It's like a loner. I don't know if loner is the right word, but it's like they don't know how to work. They don't know how to play nice with others. It feels like this person has a tendency to struggle to maintain connections in other areas of their lives as well. So it's probably not just with you. It feels like it's probably something that, and I think that's what we have to understand is, again, how other people treat us is a reflection of them, not us. So that means that's how they're going to continue to treat other people until they address those issues, right? And I think sometimes that can be hard to remember. And I think that we have to be open to understanding that it's not about trying to change someone, or it's not about trying to be good enough for someone to change, or for someone to choose us, or for someone to treat us well. It's about understanding what that reflection is reflecting in us. I saw once, I don't remember who it was, and I really, really wish I could remember, but it was this, I believe he was a psychiatrist, and he said the number one sign of childhood trauma is trying to get difficult people to love us well, to treat us well, trying to get difficult people to treat us well, regardless of what form that is, whether it's in romantic relationships, it could be familial relationships, friendships, bosses, whatever the case is. When we have childhood trauma, when we have lacked the love that we were deserving of as a kid, we are going to spend, if we don't address it, we are going to spend our life trying to find the love that we're deserving of in people that remind us of that exact same dynamic. And I feel like that's what's happening here, is this person is almost reminding you of the ways that you feel unlovable and not good enough. It is not a reflection of the fact that those things are true, okay? And I know I've said this so many times in this reading, but it's more of a reflection of understanding that this person is trying to spark healing in you so that you can learn to love yourself unconditionally instead of looking for that unconditional love in another person. Because when you love yourself unconditionally, instead of attracting people that are going to reflect the lack of love you have for yourself, you're going to attract the people that reflect the love that you have for yourself, which is where you start to create the relationships that you're looking for and ultimately that you deserve. So this is somebody, the way that this person is acting, it literally has nothing to do with you. And in fact, this is a pattern for them. I can just tell by the way the energy is showing up. I mean, seeing the Hermit in reverse and the Three of Pentacles in reverse, it just feels like they don't have what it takes to maintain and sustain a healthy connection. And that is a result of their need to heal, right? So you don't have any control over that. What you do have control over is trying to understand what this is trying to show you so that you can heal in a way that you need to, so that you don't have to repeat this lesson, but instead you can attract people that will love you well. All right, this person's energy toward Cancer. This is one of my longer readings this week, I believe. I like the messages. I love breaking down relationship dynamics and where they stem from. It's absolutely changed my life for the better. Just understanding not just why other people do what they do, but understanding why I do what I do, because it kind of starts to go hand in hand. You have this moon. This person's just as afraid. They have these feelings of being unlovable, of being not good enough. They have things about themselves they don't love. It's just that the way in which the fear is manifesting, there is a mirrored fear. There is a mirrored feeling of unlovableness, not being good enough, not being valued. It's just that it's being handled differently. It's manifesting differently. This person's pushing away love when it's there for them, and then you have, you over here who is looking for it or attracting it in people who don't know how to provide it. So, and when we're doing that, because then you have the Hangman in reverse, this person doesn't know how to let go. They don't know how to surrender to all of those feelings, because relationships take the willingness to face uncomfortable feelings, to face vulnerability, to face insecurity, and to say, I'm not going to allow this to control the relationship or control what I do in this relationship. Instead, I'm going to face this with eyes wide open, and I'm going to deal with the uncomfortable emotions, and I'm going to allow this to help me heal even more. But that takes, I'm a firm believer that any two people on this planet can make it work in a connection, but it takes two people having a willingness to do so, a willingness to do that work, not just on the connection, but on themselves as well, which is where most people don't want, which is what most people don't want to do, because it's more comfortable running away from that pain and running away from those insecurities and not facing them. But when that's the case, you will continue to attract these kinds of cycles where you're dealing with people who make you feel like you're not good enough, or like you're unlovable, or like you can never have the love that you deserve and desire, because that trauma where you have first been taught that there is something wrong with you, that you're unlovable, that you're not good enough for love, that trauma is being proven correct through those types of dynamics that you attract. So that's the need to heal unhealed trauma, not proof that your trauma is true. I hope that makes sense. And I know that we're diving into some pretty deep stuff, and that cannot be the easiest thing to do, but I do know from experience that if you don't address the ways that you've been taught that there's something wrong with you and that you're unlovable and that you're not good enough, if you don't address those things, the universe will address them for you. And it will address in the form of pain and heartbreak and all of those things. Am I saying that this is your fault? Absolutely not, okay? Your trauma is not your fault, but if you want it to not control your life, it is your responsibility to address it and to understand what kind of situations are trying to help you address it so that you can attract better relationships into your life, because you are absolutely deserving of that. You've never been deserving of this. You've never been deserving of what you've experienced, but it's hard to believe that when it feels like you've been taught that you are. So this is why it's not your fault, but addressing those things from that perspective can certainly help in the long run. All right, we're going to hop on over to the extended You of Confusion with the 10 of Swords here. I'm going to dive deeper into this connection. We're looking at the deeper purpose and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Thank you so much, Cancer, as always, for your support of my channel. I obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Cancer, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Cancer.